Hi everyone, my name is Chris. Today we're going to talk about how to calculate cash flow and why it's not the most important number. Before we start, let's answer the question, what is cash flow? Cash flow is basically your income subtracted by your expenses, and the money left over is your cash flow. Now, the reason why I wanted to create this video is because when I went online and looked at forums and different groups, a lot of people would talk about in their rental portfolio, oh, my property is making $900, $1,100, $1,500 in cash flow. Now, there definitely are instances and investment strategies within real estate where that is possible. But what I realized looking and asking about their numbers, most people, when they calculate their cash flow, is they don't consider all of the expenses in the formula. So that's what we're going to show you today. Here's a typical example I see online when people talk about cash flow. Now, I'm actually going to use a duplex that we currently own in Texas as the rental income as I populate these numbers. So for our property right now, it's currently making $1,325 a month. Now, with the expenses, you have your mortgage, you have your property taxes, and then you have your insurance. So that total expense is $591. And so from here, I'm subtracting the expenses from my income, and that nets us to $733 in cash flow. Now in this example, $700 is a lot of money per month in cash flow, so this seems great. Absolutely, I definitely would buy this deal any day of the week. But this is where I want to show you guys there are other expenses that you should look at when factoring and determining if a property is worth your time and investment. So here's the additional expenses to think about. So now we're adding property management, maintenance, CapEx, vacancy, utilities, and miscellaneous expenses. So the reason why I like to go ahead and factor property management into analyzing my deal is hopefully for you guys, you will eventually get to a point where your portfolio is so large that you do need to outsource it to property management. So because of that, I like to go ahead and think that I'm going to use property management and set aside 10% for that. That's kind of the typical going rate around my area where I invest. So then I also have maintenance. You know, using the stereotypical, you have a plumber, you have a clogged toilet, you got to factor maintenance costs for your property. CapEx is saving up for big ticket items. Maybe you have to pay the deductible to get a new roof. And then same thing for vacancy. When people move out, there may be some days before you get a new tenant in. So because of that, I'm also factoring in 7% as my expenses there. Utilities, maybe you're in a small multifamily and you're in charge of the water bill. Maybe you're also in charge of the electric bill. So you just have to think about what other utilities does this property have to pay in order to analyze your deal. Now, there may be times where you change it to where you're billing back tenants, things like that. But at least to run your analysis, think about the utilities that the home is in charge for, what the owner pays for. And then your miscellaneous expenses is very similar to the small multifamily. Maybe you're in charge of paying the lawn, getting it mowed. Or if you're in the Midwest, Northeast area, maybe you have to pay to get the snow shoveled out. So these are the other expenses that I like to think about when I'm running analysis. So in this same example, the income is $1,325, but we subtract it by the $1,000 in expenses. So every month we're getting approximately $320 a month. Now, earlier in the video, we were talking about cash flow is not the most important number. So right now, it seems like this is a good deal, but what if I had to invest $1 million to get $300 a month in cash flow? That would not be a good investment. So the other number to think about is your cash on cash return. So for this particular property, we currently have invested $25,400 of our cash. So that equals 15%. And the way that we got this number is you take your cash flow, times that by 12 months, and then you divide that by your initial investment or your cash invested into the property. So that equal to 15% when I ran this analysis. And for me, 15% is a really good return. It's higher than a typical stock market performance in a given year, or a 5-year, 10-year return. So that's why for this particular property, I decided to invest and add this to my portfolio. I hope this video was helpful to you all. You know, cash flow is definitely an important number, but really look at your cash on cash return, and that will help determine if you should invest into a property or invest somewhere else. I had a discussion with one of my friends, and he doesn't really want to invest in real estate because of the headaches of, you know, dealing with tenants, and he feels like he can get a better return in the stock market, which absolutely can be true. So that's why it's important, if you're spending time investing in real estate, to really analyze your deals and ensure that the numbers make sense for you and what you want to accomplish. Again, thank you all for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. It really means a lot to me. If you like, hit the subscribe button. And if you have any questions, let me know and I'll definitely try to answer as best as I can. Until the next video, I hope you all have a wonderful day.